I even dare to say that it gave me a lot of change in my personality.
You change the focus, what do I need, what do I feel, what is going on inside me.
I believe in this combination of these elements.
Burnout is when you start to focus too much on what is being demanded from you. And you keep responding, and you don't give a break on it. And at a certain point, you start to not notice that you are not responding to your basic needs. And I don't mean just about eating, but resting and stop thinking. It is very easy because it's a human being who is asking for your work. But if you're not well, then you're not helping, you become part of the problem.
We say that the things that are necessary for a real fire can serve as kind of a symbol for the burnout, which is like when your fire is not burning anymore. So what is needed for a fire to burn is that you need a material like wood or something that you can burn, and it would be, in our lives, it would be our health. So our healthy lifestyle, the way that we take care of our body, for example. And another thing that you need for a fire to burn is the appropriate temperature, which you need to assess and control. So that is self-knowledge and self-control. Some of the tools in the toolkits help you to gain more self-knowledge. You need to learn about yourself and also how you can control your emotions, how much you communicate from these emotions and how do you communicate and so on. And what you also need for a fire to burn is oxygen, which could symbolize for burnout the social atmosphere that's around you. So what kind of relationships you have, and also some of the tools, indeed quite a lot of the tools, can be helpful in creating supportive relationship, building a community in work or outside of work. And the last thing you need for a fire to burn is a sparkle in our symbolic. That is a kind of experiences that gives you adrenaline kind of thing. For example, outdoor experiential education can bring a lot of this sparkle that you can recharge from.
So this is the goal. We want to create something that any person can use to prevent burnout, mainly because the adult educators and all educators are in charge of someone's needs. So these tools are also for carers and anybody who is at burnout risk.
So the thing with burnout is it's very difficult to fight as soon as it's there. It's much more easy to prevent. And then the tools in this toolkit can assist in preventing burnout in multiple ways.
I work often with people that is in risk of burnout because I work often with the teachers. The school could be a place where the worker risk this kind of difficulties because of the quantity of the work and also because of the children or the teenagers. And when I work with them, I know they need to stay in contact with their own needs And using this kind of methodology, we can give them something to be in contact with themselves in a simple way, because the collection of easy-to-use tools is really simple to use by the people, by themselves.
The burnout is an evidence that it is happening, and for me personally, for example, it was a help to get to know other tools. And it was very interesting to observe our outdoor educators and trainers, how difficult it was for them to use art or to engage in dancing or to do new things. But actually, through all these new approaches, you build your resilience, because you get a kind of flexibility, and maybe you see new solutions also.
In the project, we have 3 approaches: methodomarchiopathy, outdoor experiential learning, and alive arts. Actually, it's called the art process. They all touch the several areas of art, body, and nature. And then we added one by surprise within the process. Came naturally, which was psychology. Basically, we went to experience all these trainings. Out of it, we took activities, diverse activities, and when we combine them is when you actually are reaching the holistic response of need. So we want to respond to our emotional needs, mental needs, physical needs, and spiritual needs, which has to do with be aware of your values, be aligned with them. What the tool does, you can do it individually. You can pick one activity. Let's say you take one activity of body. What we recommend is that you choose one and experiment it for a month with your team or on your own, because there are tools that are for the team, for groups, and tools you can do on your own. And so you see the impact after a month, what was to be with this tool.
We are not only assessing the individual employees in their fight against burnout, but we also provide services to the organizations if they want to change some of their practices in order to prevent the burnout of the employees. So that's the organizational focus, and that is my personal conviction, that one cannot work without the other, because if the job you do is overly stressful, if the conditions are not healthy mentally or even physically, then no matter how hard you try individually to fight against it and prevent burnout, you have much lower chances than in a healthy organization. So that we also created some personalized suggestions for the organizations, what they could change in their everyday practice in order to become a healthier organization for their employees.
What we agreed on was to give each other workshops, everybody using his own original method. So the other adult educators or facilitators, trainers can study it, can experiment with it. And once this kind of series of trainings were over, we created easy-to-use tools out of them.
I'm using also that methodologies that till now was, I thought that was far from my way to work. Now I'm using, yes.
I am an outdoor experiential educator, and outdoors is very much about performing, achieving goals, achieving your aims. And with arts, you dive into your inner landscapes that are, maybe in psychology we call it unconscious. With merging the two methods, you can work with your external relations and you can work with your internal relations at the same time. And this I have never experienced before. And it gives me much bigger access to see what is good for me, what are my objectives, how I want to relate to others, how I want to treat myself, and so on. For me, it gave a lot.
most useful part of these kind of elements is in the processing part. So whenever we have a very intensive outdoor experience, it can be an expedition or a climbing or a ropes course activity or a canoeing or whatever, then when we try to make transfers to the everyday life or to make connection with self-development of the participant, it is very easy and handful to use because settle better the things what you have experienced through artistic elements.